we have, you know, for years, when you heard the John Birch Society, you thought it was a bunch of crazy right-wing nuts.
Herding cats.
And it turns out, like with so much stuff that we learned over time, that they were really not crazy right-wing nuts. They were people who were in favor of the Constitution. Do I have your attention now? See, I told you, get closer to the mic. And I've learned a little bit about the John Birch Society. People like Hal Shurtleff have been on my radio show talking about an Article 5 convention. And I know this is something that actually splits conservatives about whether or not we should do an Article 5 or not. But here today is the John Birch Society, and to represent them is Bill McNulty. And Bill, we want you to come up to the microphone for a couple minutes and talk a little bit about your organization and why you're here.
Okay, thank you, Rich. My first trivia question is, can I get a raise of hands? If you know this question, raise your hand. If you don't, well then don't raise it. Who is the creature from Jekyll Island? All right, so we've got 2 or 3. I think you better stop by my booth afterwards, those that didn't raise your hand. Okay, what's happening tomorrow noon? Camp Constitution in Ringe, New Hampshire starts tomorrow noon. Let's get your kids there so they can learn about the Constitution. It's not sponsored by the John Birch Society, it's sponsored by a private group. I tend to help them and so on and so forth. My next question is, can dyslexia be artificially induced in school? Yes, says researcher Edward Miller. I'm not going any further with it because it's a very deep subject. You'll have to talk to me about it at the booth over there. That's why I have this book here. It's called Phonics for Success. I am the publisher as the director and president of the Samuel L. Blumenfeld Literacy Foundation. Our mission is to teach the world to read.
Yep, this is the
that means anyone.
This is the wireless your dad's running. What I do is
on our desk over here, let us say that you want to know whether your senator or your United States representative votes with the Constitution. Well, here it is. Every single legislator in Congress, Washington, D.C., who votes is listed in here. 100 in the Senate and 435 in the Congress. Come over and take a look at it. Let me read you an admonition from the former governor of the state of New Hampshire, Meldon Thompson. I guess I'll need my glasses for this one, unless I ad-lib it here. Let's see if I can do it. I'd like to read it out. If we want to avoid the disaster of one world government, if we wish to preserve our priceless national sovereignty and live through all time as free men, then it is imperative that the American people read The Shadows of Power. $10 at the booth. All right, and the last book we have here at the table, you should take a look at it. It's called Crimes of the Educators. Right in the top is an endorsement by the former Representative Ron Paul. Thank you, and I hope you'll consider visiting our booth and talking about dyslexia, reading problems. I am the New Hampshire self-proclaimed reading expert, bar none. Thank you.
all you can do is just stare at it.
And I have to tell you something, my kids are on their way to Camp Constitution tomorrow. I don't know if it's too late for people to sign up for it, but they went last year, and the first thing they said when they got in the car, when we picked them up, is, can we go back next year? So as I was talking about this book on the Jefferson Lies, Camp Constitution is a wonderful place where people who understand our founding documents teach kids and adults of all ages, and in between it all, They have themselves a terrific summer camp experience with all that you'd expect, you know, the cookouts, the bonfires, the hikes, the swimming, trips in to Boston. They went to Old Ironsides last year. This year they're going to the, is it the Minuteman Museum? I don't know, and the Massachusetts State House.
Croc TV.